Gabby Petito's remains were identified and found as a homicide, and right now the divers are actually on the hunt at Carveston Reserve looking for Brian Laundrie, which is Gabby Petito's fiance. So where can Brian be right now is Brian Laundrie's family behind his disappearance, or what could have actually gone wrong. So in this actually episode of Millennial versus Gen Z, we are actually going to be covering this case as well as some of the insights we've discovered.
Yep.
Yeah. So it actually all started in June, and it's basically Brian and Gabby.
Yep.
They lived together for a year at basically Brian's parents' house. So they decided to travel, but they went to New York. And the van is actually Gabby Petito's van. And in around 1 or 2 months, it actually basically took things on a turn. Around August 12th, someone actually reported a domestic dispute. And they called 911, and they basically said that someone was hitting Gabby, and it turned out to be pretty much Brian because he was with her. And
so basically they were boyfriends and girlfriends, right? And then they went on a sort of a month-long vacation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they've been together for a long time, or it's just do we know?
So they've been together for, I would say, probably like 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
But he proposed on June of 2020, I believe. But this is what the research we've been finding out so far, because the case is pretty recent, but as the days go on, we're finding new things about how Brian and Gabby's relationship kind of were in a rough spot in the beginning. And recently, there's cases right now where Brian's family is like saying, their relationship was always on like highs and lows at the beginning of the start. And that's kind of like right now the biggest thing. And it's like saying there's like not just like, they were a perfect couple in a way. So.
Well, for the people who listening, they didn't know what's going on maybe with the news, but you mostly, the boyfriend and the girlfriend, they went on a 1 month long trip.
1 month long trip.
Right, and then now the girlfriend, which is Gabby, is found missing.
Yeah.
And now the FBI think it's a homicide.
Yeah.
Right, and that's
what they found the body remains. So they discovered her, like it's her body, but they actually identified it is an actual homicide. So it's a confirmed case, but the cause of death they don't know yet. That's what they're saying.
Okay. But I dig some to news yesterday.
Yeah.
Officially they pronounce now it's a homicide. It's like she's killed by somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah. That's what I found out last night while I was doing some research on the news, and it was really interesting.
Basically, from the timeline that I see, they basically went on a trip, around June of this year, right, 2021. And then someone called in at the August of 12th about witnessing, basically Brian hitting Gabby. And in the call, she was basically saying she saw a guy like slapping her.
And in the car, inside the car.
In the car, yeah.
So some guys saw the boyfriend,
and they
was
called,
slapping the girlfriend.
Yeah.
While they were driving in the car.
Yeah, in the car.
Okay. So then what happened was the police stopped them, right?
Yeah.
And we actually had a video of it.
Of the body cam, which I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's an hour long body cam footage. And it's just her being very scared, having a meltdown, and she's like shaking the whole entire time. So it's kind of really frightening in a way.
I actually saw like a few clips.
I saw the whole thing.
Oh yeah, okay. I saw like a few minutes of it, and the main points. She was really scared.
Yeah.
When it was like frightening. So, and then she say she quit her job to be on a long month trip with the boyfriend. Right? It was something what she told the police.
She the way she did it was like she kind of like was like, I have OCD, you know, she was kind of like saying it's her fault, right?
Yeah.
But throughout the whole entire process after, like I watched like the whole entire like 45 minutes of the thing, and he looked very, very like he doesn't care. He like actually like tried to joke with the officers and like called her crazy.
Yeah. Sort of something
like it was off. It just felt very off, like watching it. Like that's what I remember. Yeah,
it was a little bit awkward. But obviously the Gabby was so scared. She's like shaking and crying. So, and then the boyfriend looked like really normal. It's like it's just nothing.
Yeah, like nothing happened. Like
so, it must be a concerning situation for somebody to call.
Yeah, that's what I would
911.
Think too. Yeah, that's what I would think too.
And then have the police, get involved with the situation.
Because if it was just like like this, like I'm tapping you or like a small like hit, right? Then it's not a huge issue. Like I would assume the witness saw something more than just like like. I would think it's probably in a very physical manner that he felt concerned. So
I think so too.
But basically, the last like sight for like the police basically reported was that they saw Gabby last checking out a hotel in August 24th. And then on the 25th was the last time she kept in touch with her parents. Because her parents and Gabby are really close and they constantly keep in touch with each other and like send photos, and she'll post on Instagram very actively because she always wanted
most of the parents do, right? Especially
if you're traveling, traveling. And taking
parents
something new,
wanna always keep in touch with their kids.
And I know that like coming from like looking at her and like as well, especially as like a young millennial, like a young generation Z, I think like she had this passion and drive to be like traveling the world, to be a blogger and like wanting to pursue her dreams.
Actually she said she wanted to become a vlogger, right? And then she was uploading for YouTube.
So she wanted to take that commitment. That's why she quit her job.
She quit her job to do that. And then I think was she want to be in a whole adventure. I don't know, it's a whole month, or that's what they're saying, right? She's telling the police it's a whole month, right? A trip,
a whole month trip. And that's why I would assume, as a parent, you would be contacting with, and especially taking that huge leap of faith to pursue your dreams, like she would obviously keep on contact with her parents. But it wasn't actually reported till September 11th. Her parents reported her missing because it just felt off that she wasn't keeping in touch.
That was like many days, right? She talked to her. On 25th.
But the thing is, on August 30th.
Okay.
On August 30th, the parents got 2 text messages from Gabby.
Oh, maybe is it because the boyfriend faking it or something?
That's what they think. Is like it's weird, right? Like
the timeline's off.
The timeline's off, right? But like the thing is, we like obviously in the beginning of September 11th, like nobody who knew about this case, people still thought like she was maybe emotionally unstable, maybe she was like all this. But like as now, like finding the body and all, like as time goes on, from finding
as
like evidence,
providing
evidence,
videos and evidence and releasing the camera footage, we find out more.
We found out more, so it's like kind of like matching the puzzle pieces together, and it's adding up, and it's basically the last time she kept in touch with her parents was on the 25th, right? And then on the 30th, right, they got 2 random text message. The parents got 2 random text messages from Gabby, and it just fell off. And there was also an Instagram post, by the way, and it was like a standard Instagram post. It just said like happy Halloween or whatever, and like it has like her like images of like not like her in like the actual like national state park, you know, or like in Colorado. It was like a random like herself photos post on Instagram.
Okay. Why?
So I would say like, what are your like when you first heard this case? What were your first impressions like?
My first impression must be domestic violence. Must be the boyfriend, you know, killed the girlfriend. That's what like my instinct.
That's what you think was?
Yeah, it was more of instant, you know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my first impressions was it was very disheartening and like such a young age, you know, like 22. But then like it's also like this whole like concept of like love can make people go crazy in a way. So I was like, what is like, I didn't know that like both of them were like, when I first heard the case and during like September 11th, I honestly thought they like both got like, they were hiking and both of them got missing, you know, because that's what kind of happened in a family in California. Like both of them got sick. A whole family got sick during a hike, and they like basically died from some sort of like plant poisoning or water poisoning. And I thought that was like the case.
But usually if that's missing, they will find the car, they will find the car blowing.
Yeah.
But in this case,
that's why like as the more
very different.
Yeah, as more like information came the day by day after, like after the reporting of like the girl being missing, it became very bizarre and like grim for me. And I was like, this is such an
just for the viewers have not listened to the news yet. So what happened? The girl went missing. And then the boyfriend had the car, was spotted by somebody. Yeah. And then somebody uploaded it to YouTube or gave it to the news, and they spotted in the it's like
a family vlogger. Yeah, they were both in that area.
And they spotted the car. They
spotted the car. Well, they didn't even realize until they were editing their vlog.
And then the boyfriend drove the car way back to the Florida home and park it in the garage, right? And then now, the guy's name is Robert. It's what's his name? Gabby's fiance,
Brian.
Oh, Brian, yeah. He went missing.
Yeah.
After he drove the car to the garage.
He came back on September 1st, and came back at his parents' house in Florida. So it just like I think the finding out that he came back home with the van like alone, you know, that's when like and then he didn't report nothing
to nobody, saying nothing to nobody,
not even the parents.
Well, that's what the parents say to the FBI, because the FBI raided their homes, right? But I think it's all question mark. Lots of question marks.
Which I was like, I think in the future there'll probably like be a documentary or some sort of like movie inspired by this, you know.
Do you think the parents know something about the situation? Maybe they were concerning. Maybe do they ask questions like, okay, you guys went on a trip. Maybe you ask.
Well, obviously. But, like, if a parent, you know, obviously, like, especially, like, if they're gonna become one of basically your close family because they're engaged.
They're already engaged.
Right? So like, it just like felt weird. It felt very weird. Like, that's the whole thing. And then the whole parents being quiet in the process and not being public to the media. Yeah. And then being public, his sister became like very active and like saying, you know, like wanting to get interviewed, and said oh, like we don't know really about him, but we do know that their relationships were on and off. But she was public to the media after when they reported that Brian was missing. So it's like there's like a whole chunk of the part of the story that's missing right now. And like, this is, I guess, like, this could either go one or two ways, right? Either it will be an all-solved mystery. Like we actually find him dead. Like,
you mean the Brian?
Brian dead, yeah.
Okay.
Or we basically find him, right? Mm-hmm. But then like it wasn't actually all ploy. Like he like planned all of this. Or some sort of like, maybe some sort of actual like encounter between mm-hmm. Gabby and him, and maybe like he like ran back home to see if his parents could like save, you know.
Well, I think this situation,
I don't know. It's like all theory,
it's very interesting, but I think this is very simple situation. It's just it's a domestic violence gone wrong, and then the boyfriend just got scared, went back home, drove the car back home, and then he went in hiding. You know, so he knows this. He did something wrong, and now he went in hiding. Yeah. What else? Why he's missing? You know, afterwards drive all the car back for the home, and then we're missing. You know. Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like I would say, yeah, that's definitely the case. But there's like actually like, people like internet, you know, like finding things, which is interesting because I dived deep. Be more like our young generation, like literally we like to like find things online. Yeah. But I actually have some stats from the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, which is a great organization, by the way. And they basically did some research, and they found that like 1 or 3 women, or 1 in 4 men, for 1 in 4 men is a victim of some sort of form of like physical violence by an intimate partner during their lifetime. And then obviously 40% of them are female victims that are killed by an intimate partner. And almost half of the intimate partner homicides are committed by a dating partner. And I feel like because like they're really young and their love is young, you know, like the first few loves, like even though they committed to like getting married, I feel like they're still like in the process of dating because of their relationship was so on and off. And like,
well, I think the younger generation has more depressed, like more more, I don't know,
like anxiety and like worry and like the feeling of securement, I would say. No,
not even.
I don't know, like
it's more.
I think people. I think coming from like me being like in the generation, I think we're easily to fall in things quickly.
Yeah, like, which is good. Yeah, which is good. You know, sometimes.
But it can be dangerous.
You want to take risks as. You know, when you're more younger and, you know, do more stuff, and that's why. But you also have to be more, you know, concerning about your partner or other people. If I bet in this relationship, he's very abusive.
Yeah, that's what I like, assume too.
Because if you were driving and then you start hitting your girlfriend. Yeah. While you're driving, well, that's a crazy act. Yeah. You know, usually we can yell at each other or get mad at each other, you know, but not like start hitting. Yeah. It was the 911 call was slapping, right? Slapping.
Yeah, slapping. But in the body cam footage, right, the police noticed, right, like him having scars and like nooks on his skin. Yeah, so. And like he was like, oh no, that just came from like him hiking, and he was just like, you know, he got like
maybe that was scratched by the girlfriend.
Her. I would assume because she was so scared and, you know, she didn't really want to admit it. But you can see that she was shaking. And she kept on blaming herself.
Yeah, like, because usually when the ladies are in love, you know, or they like the person, they don't want to hurt that person. They know if they're talking to the police the wrong way, the boyfriend might be locked up. Yeah. But in this situation, you had to do differently. Yeah. You know, you had to tell what's going on.
I think that's why like people, and I wish I could do more research into like the whole domestic violence, but like and like the survivors, I think it's mostly like the feeling of like dumb securement, but also like feeling like they done everything wrong themselves. So they like for them they it's hard for them to like step up and say stuff when they're stuck into something. And it's probably has to do with like, you know, the courage to step up and speak something about it. And I could just tell from her, like, she was afraid, like if she was gonna get in trouble by saying like,
I think so. But like, the way she talks,
right? Yeah, like
she was afraid of.
She kept on apologizing, like
getting the boyfriend in trouble, but obviously she was shaking and crying when she got out of the car in the beginning when the police stopped them. So, you know, people can go watch the
body cam as well as the 911 911 call. But the internet actually discovered some things. Did you watch the vlog?
Not yet.
You didn't?
I didn't watch it.
Okay, so when Gabby went missing, the internet likes to do some deep search web diving.
People are very interesting these days. They want
like basically like DDoSing and like trying to hack and find things. Like obviously like Reddit and then like all this, right? So these are some of the cool, interesting things that I feel like it's very weird. Okay. If you saw the video, right, in the YouTube video, it's very weird. Like, if you do watch it, she seems off. Like, she seems like she was having, like, a mental, like, breakdown, like, in the video.
It's she like seems a cold. Panic
or, like, anxious. Yeah. Like, that's what she seems like. Because most, like, YouTube, like, family vloggers, when they're in love, like, you can see like them like being intimate, but also you never know because most relationships online could see happy, but they, you know,
in reality it's not happy.
But
people hide themselves all the time.
But something was so off though. Like, what is it? Like in the video because
which video?
Her vlog.
Her vlog video. Okay.
Yeah, she was in the tent. Okay, right, and she was talking the whole entire time, right, about like, oh, this is what we're doing, you know, we're like, we're actually, you know, at the state national park, we're in the middle of nowhere and stuff, but she was inside the tent alone. Oh, she steps out. Okay, and then Brian is right there, like laying there and like doing yoga. Right, and doing his own thing, right? But then like she had some B-roll of like them like filming like at the beach or whatever, all different places. And then it cut to basically him being like on one of like, I guess near another like national state park. And he was on a hammock reading this book called Annihilation, which like, if you don't know what this book basically is, this is what the internet basically think. It's like, it's a horror sci-fi fiction book, and it describes a team of 4 women who set out in the area of the area known Area X, and the area is abandoned and cut off of the rest of the civilization. So it's like kind of like a thing about like, you know, finding like leaving someone stranded and like, you know, missing persons type of book. So people just think like, you know, like in his headspace, you know, maybe he was thinking of that, like, you know.
Okay. Yeah. So he left the girlfriend behind. Yeah,
behind, right? Oh. Because of he's reading that book. Because like if you think about
then he must have some
emotional problem, which
or mental problem.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, which can explain the next thing, which I found. People have discovered online on his like basically not his Instagram but his Pinterest. I don't know if you know Pinterest. Yeah. Like, you know, there's like photo boards, you know, like people who have like weddings, they plan like boards. I know. So he has a Pinterest. Out of all things, he has Pinterest. And I actually look at his Pinterest. It's public right now. And the first thing you search up his name is like his Pinterest. Because everybody's looking at it. Okay. And it's a lot. There's a lot. One of them had basically like his thing called My Heart, which is, I would assume, his values. But if you open it, there's a collage of him like liking all the Pinterest posts, and it's like inspirational quotes and like very dark reading, like stuff like there's like a couple photo of like armed robbery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's dark, and like there's some cartoons that are like broken chains and like hearts, and like it's very dark. Like it looks like when you must be in that bad headspace when you're like liking that stuff, you know.
Okay.
And then
so
one thing that
be violent.
yeah.
Like,
and then one thing might have like freaked people out was that he liked one of the Pinterest posts. He put it on his category. It was said, he basically said, "Don't try to find me. I have finally escaped my masters. Wicked clutches to the others. I say join me." That was like weird. It's like basically saying like, you know, don't look for him. Like,
maybe he hide on purpose.
I don't know.
So it was like he want to go on an adventure or something. This is out of his mind or something.
Because there's lots of stuff like categories. There's stuff like about van life, you know, like him in the van, and there's like van layouts, and then different like travel photos. And then that part was very like that category of my heart, which he has like a whole section of like dark stuff. You can kind of see like his headspace was not okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then the second thing was very, very interesting. Brian, Gabby, and I believe Brian's mom.
Okay.
Or someone from Brian's relative side of the family has added collaborated Pinterest. Okay. And it's called Life Goals.
Okay.
Okay. There's two photos, two sections, like photo sections. One of them is like the wedding planning, like all the wedding stuff, you know, like cute, like cooking cutter stuff and like boards and stuff to hang and stuff for weddings.
Yep.
And the other one says, "Oh baby," which means like, well, basically they put lots of baby like clothing and like stuff to wear and stuff. So like the "oh baby" part, like it was kind of weird because like there's wedding stuff and then there's like baby clothes and outfits and stuff.
Maybe they're ready to have a baby.
Baby? That's what I think. It's so weird. Like obviously when you do Pinterest, right, for weddings, it will make sense for the timing of the wedding, but not for the baby yet.
No, maybe they just
maybe I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's a life goal thing. I don't know. Yeah, people are looking into it and like kind of like making assumptions, you know.
No, don't overthink it. just get the basic idea of how his headspace is and how he thinks.
But that's what some people think though. So it's like interesting. That's what I found online. But do you want to talk about like how they basically found like Gabby's remains? And like
what is it?
In terms of like
they're doing autopsy now. Yeah. And how they haven't releasing the whole thing, report, right? But in the coming days probably they'll release it. So but I think just maybe if these sort of things happen to people that are very engaged, and then they obviously know each other for some times now, so as a parent or as a brother or sister to either side, or especially the Gabby, right? The parents, or maybe they probably as we need to be more concerned and more get involved with the personality of your boyfriend, your girlfriend, especially when you're in a relationship. Please find out what you know about them, or
at least like if you know that person is struggling or having a hard time, I think it's good to good to check up on them, not to just let them but that's also
while you're in love, sometimes
it's hard. It's hard. I think like you're as a parent too, like you're trying your best
as parents. You try to love your kids.
It's hard. It's just a very like unfortunate situation, in
the society, but it happens, but you think there's a lesson to be learned here or something that
I think what the story, like what intrigues people is honestly the fact that like the parents might actually also be involved, Brian's parents, on his missing disappearance.
Yeah, I think so too.
But not only that, like, you know,
the parents must know something.
Yeah, must know something or have something involved with it, because the fact that he came back, you know, September 1st.
And then probably
they reported like, you know, him being missing. Like literally 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
That's just, it doesn't make any sense. And like,
or maybe Brian has some emotional and mental breakdown. Like, you know, they don't tell people about it, and then they were having problem, and then so
but like
maybe he came back afterwards.
Yeah. But like if you as a parent, right, like, I mean, this could be also a lawyer thing too, but like you would want to speak about it, at least about the Gabby situation, or at least like, you know, missing and stuff, like
ask
or at least make a statement, you know, about like
they haven't
made even a statement about like finding her, like like the body was like identified as her, and haven't even made a statement about it. Like they're so quiet. It's scary quiet. Yeah. Usually that's not the case when it comes to missing people or like
it feels
homicide.
Very weird,
yeah,
right?
It just feels very weird, and that I think that's what intrigues a lot of people, as well. I don't know, but this is definitely something that is the story is developing as the days go, and I think this story is not going to end a lot, like in terms of like a short term, and it might actually help a lot of people who are in a domestic violence like situation right now.
Yeah,
I think,
it can reflect.
Yeah,
you know, so you know, people can use this situation with the story to help themselves and the family members, or you know, if you have you know people who are in a relationship that has you know domestic violent problems, and it will make them feel more courage, to have the courage to step up and speak about it. Usually people don't have the courage.
It's
because
hard.
They don't want to hurt their loved one.
Yeah, they don't want to.
So it's important, because in the end you might lose your life. So why not just speak up?
And also this case will help, you know, people, for them to not feel alone, because I think a lot of them feel like they're the only ones getting
because they don't want to talk about it. Nobody want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, this is similar to rape situation. Nobody want to talk about if they're raped by somebody.
Because they always feel like ashamed. And also accuse themselves like they're the problem. Yeah. Because the partner, obviously. And
the stack was like 40% of
40%, which is a lot.
That's high.
And 1 out of 4, as well as men too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the
men
stats.
Too? Oh,
yeah, men too. 1 in 4. So 1 in 3 men, 1 in 3 women, and 1 in 4 men are victims of it.
Wow.
It's really high.
That's surprising.
It's just a thing that's not talked about.
Yeah, because nobody wants to
talk about it. Yeah.
You know, it's very embarrassing sometimes.
Yeah.
And nobody want to open up.
It's a hard situation because it brings a lot of, you know, trauma as well. Like I would assume it takes a lot of emotional weight just to even speak up or say, or even like talk about the whole thing, because you'll probably have some sort of flashbacks, but also the fear, you know? Yeah,
but from that situation, we need to be very important. We have to talk about it. Yeah. Find some help. Find some help, you know? Yeah. That's important.
Yeah. So hopefully this brings a lot of interest for everybody who is listening right now about this case. And if you want to find more information about like the people who are in a part of this case as well, like there's gonna be links in the YouTube channel Millennial versus Gen Z in the description box below of all the things that we found during this case, as well as I'm gonna put the people who might, you know, want to speak up or tell their story. I'll put the organization as well on the bottom below as well. So yeah, make sure to subscribe
Okay.
Yeah, our YouTube channel, Millennial versus Gen Z. And follow our socials. And have a good one, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.